It's all covered in today's China Truths.
900 containers of Chinese goods left to rot in Mexico. Another 480 seized in Europe. Behind these numbers lies a scandal so explosive it could rewrite the future of global trade. At Manzanillo Port, the beating heart of Mexico's Pacific trade, responsible for 40% of all imports, an economic earthquake struck. In June 2025 alone, almost 900 containers of Chinese goods were abandoned, a surge of over 300% compared to last year. Customs came down like a guillotine. Counterfeit brands, IP theft, false paperwork. The hammer of enforcement spared no one. Then the nightmare hit close. This afternoon, a friend called me, his voice breaking. His shipment to Mexico, valued at 400,000 yuan plus 30,000 in shipping, was among the abandoned. Overnight, everything vanished. He whispered, "Do you know what 900 containers mean?" Even at minimum value, 400,000 yuan each, the losses reached 3.6 billion yuan. And in industries like faucets, a single 20-foot container can be worth 1.2 million. These aren't just goods, they're worker sweat, unpaid wages, families' fragile hopes, now turning to waste in foreign ports, bleeding storage fees daily until they're dumped like trash. How are Chinese exporters reacting? Some are frantically chasing clients, others pawning homes, some simply fleeing in silence. Online, they still flaunt luxury cars, but behind the curtain, everything has collapsed. And the cruel reality? Most weren't victims of bad luck. They cut corners, missing paperwork, counterfeit goods, falsified manifests. When customs opened the containers, fraud spilled everywhere. Netizens showed no mercy. One wrote, "If you cheat with fake goods, you deserve it." Another pointed out, legitimate exporters face zero problems. The chaos came from gray clearance, a smuggling shortcut many small traders relied on to dodge Mexico's crushing taxes. Industry insiders confirmed even their most trusted partners were burned. Thousands of containers now stranded for months, rusting in Mexican sun. Mexico's crackdown is merciless. The National Customs Agency, NAM, enforced zero tolerance. No certificates, no entry, no compromise. Most seized goods were fakes: perfumes, cosmetics, handbags, tennis strings, sports gear, tools, tires, textiles. One fine can wipe out the profit of an entire container, leaving exporters bankrupt before they can blink. Worse, investigations revealed layers of deception: forged invoices, doctored packing lists, agents deliberately lying about cargo. With lawsuits looming and fines heavier than the cargo itself, many exporters chose the only option left: abandon everything. Mexico, meanwhile, has weaponized technology against smuggling. Gamma ray scanners, X-rays, multi-tier inspection nets, expert chemists, even sniffer dogs, all working in sync. Once flagged, containers are ripped open, their secrets exposed. In this web of steel, smugglers face two outcomes: financial death or surrender. Luis Ángel Martínez Cabrera, Deputy Director of Customs at Manzanillo, broke the silence. The cargo isn't abandoned because customs is slow. It's abandoned because enforcement is ruthless. He admitted the crackdown doesn't hurt government revenue, but it's strangling port operations. Thousands of containers clog the terminals, paralyzing clearance, crippling trade, and sending shockwaves through the global supply chain. Compared to the US or Europe, Mexico's customs are a battlefield filled with hidden traps, and exporters are stepping on them one after another. 4 rules make it lethal. First, instant seizure on complaint. One brand accusation is enough to see goods confiscated without trial. Second, paperwork chaos. Any branded product without licenses is detained, fined, and seized on the spot. Third, the OEM nightmare. Even perfectly legal goods are blocked if the brand isn't registered with Mexican customs, turning China's massive OEM exporters into easy prey. Fourth, joint liability. One suspicious item poisons the entire container, condemning innocent goods along with the guilty. Faced with soaring storage fees and impossible risks, many importers don't even fight back. They just abandon everything. By spring 2025, the hammer came down hard. On May 1st, NAM launched raids in Mexico City, seizing Chinese shipments worth 300 million pesos, USD 16 million. 33 containers packed with everything from scooters to clothing were hit. Officials called it a national security operation, but gave little detail beyond fake papers, false declarations, and absurdly undervalued cargo. Behind closed doors, exporters knew the truth. The crackdown had turned surgical. Then the shockwave went political. On May 13, 2025, President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo stood before the nation and announced Mexico would slash Chinese imports, shield local industries, and deepen alignment with the US and Canada. It was more than trade policy, it was a geopolitical strike. Across the globe, Chinese goods were being hit by unprecedented IP crackdowns, and 2025 was fast becoming the year China's export machine bled. Europe struck next. On June 26, 2025, the European Public Prosecutor's Office, EPO, unleashed Operation Caralizo, a massive raid across 14 countries that ripped apart a Chinese-led smuggling empire. In one coordinated sweep, 480 containers were seized. Raids stretched from Bulgaria to Greece, France to Spain, targeting customs offices, consulting firms, transport companies, even lawyers' chambers. The evidence told a shocking story: an underground trade network bypassing duties and VAT on a colossal scale. The seizures were staggering: mountains of textiles, shoes, scooters, and e-bikes. Enforcement squads stormed Rotterdam and Piraeus, confiscating $5.8 million in cash across multiple currencies, including Hong Kong dollars and crypto wallets. Authorities seized 7,133 e-bikes, 3,696 scooters, and rerouted all 480 containers to Spain's port of Algeciras for forensic inspection. Luxury watches, handbags, jewelry, 27 vehicles, 11 properties, all seized. In Greece, entire real estate portfolios, bank accounts, and ships linked to Chinese operators were frozen overnight. EPO revealed the scale: nearly $700 million, USD 820 million in damages from the smuggling network. In just 3 months, tax evasion on e-bikes and scooters topped $250 million, while VAT fraud added $450 million more. Even worse, the raids exposed corruption at the core. 10 suspects arrested, including customs officers. Inside their homes, weapons, daggers, envelopes of cash. The empire of counterfeit trade wasn't just flooding Europe with cheap goods. It had bribed its way into the very ports meant to stop it. Local media didn't hold back. They called it historic, unprecedented, a raid that shook Europe to its core. In Greece, over 200 officers labored nonstop for 72 hours just to register the mountain of seized goods. Insiders whispered that Piraeus Port, once the pride of the Mediterranean, was rotten from the inside out. More than 30 insiders, dock workers, customs officials, logistics staff, had been bribed to keep the machine running. The network was a fortress: goods imported from China, distributed across Europe, profits laundered through shell firms, and money wired back to China, all while dodging taxes worth hundreds of millions. The scandal reopened an old wound: China's creeping takeover of Piraeus. In 2016, COSCO Shipping secured control of the port. By 2021, it held 67% ownership. What was pitched as economic cooperation quietly became a gateway for gray trade. Weak European oversight and COSCO's dominance turned Piraeus into a fertile breeding ground for Chinese smuggling empires. On the surface, the port boomed. By 2024, Piraeus was handling 5.4 million TEUs, ranking among the busiest in the Mediterranean. But beneath that success story, shadows thrived. A massive gray clearance system surfaced, exposing Chinese freight forwarders to collapse. Panic spread like wildfire. Over 50 Chinese logistics companies, some with decades of spotless history, suddenly found themselves under the microscope. The crackdown didn't stop in Greece. EPO struck across Spain, Italy, France, and other EU states. Properties, cars, and bank accounts were frozen. Real estate portfolios worth millions were seized. What emerged wasn't a handful of bad actors, but a sprawling criminal empire stretching across at least 6 EU countries. At the center stood a single mastermind, a Chinese woman known only as Kelly. Fluent in several languages, she built a smuggling empire over 10 years. She linked dockside workers to freight forwarders, agents to European buyers. Invoices were falsified, shipments undervalued, goods funneled through chains of shell companies. Investigators believe her network laundered more than $1 billion, transforming simple tax evasion into a systemic economic crime. The fraud was staggering. An e-scooter worth $500 declared at $100. A shipment rerouted through 6 fake firms before reaching a consumer. EU data now suggests nearly 15% of Chinese imports are misdeclared, proof that Kelly's operation was just the tip of the iceberg. The cost? Devastating. 480 containers frozen in Greek ports, racking up $10,000 in storage fees per day. Most were linked to small and mid-sized Chinese exporters, implicating 300 factories in Guangdong and Zhejiang. "Another week of this, and I'll collapse," cried a textile producer in Shaoxing. For many, survival was impossible. Shipping costs spiked 30%. Clearance times exploded from 3 days to 15. Inspection rates shot beyond 20%, crushing confidence. By mid-2025, Chinese declarations at Greek ports plunged 45%. Desperate exporters rerouted shipments through Spain, the Netherlands, even Eastern Europe. But EU's new cross-verification system flagged undervalued cargo wherever it landed. Now every container, textiles, e-bikes, even EVs, is tracked by GPS, scanned by X-ray, and ripped open if suspicion arises. Costs surged another 20–30%, strangling exporters who once thrived on razor-thin margins. Analysts warn this may mark a turning point in China-EU trade. Brussels has made its stance clear. This crackdown is only the beginning. Mexico and the EU are setting a template for the world. Tighter oversight, advanced tech inspections, zero tolerance for gray trade. The era of unchecked Chinese exports, hidden behind counterfeits, fraud, and tax evasion, may be ending. And with it, the fragile business empires of thousands of exporters who built their fortunes in the shadows.
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.